What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's enjoying their weekend and their week and whatnot. We are officially now into August, and what better way to keep this summer fest going than with more horror and a little bit of humor as well. And coming from the director who's been in... He's had an interesting career growing up and stuff, so it's a perfect way to kick off August. We're talking about the latest film from director of Barbarian, which is Cregger. From those of you who don't remember, I know we briefly touched upon it. We did our Barbarian review like 3 years ago. He was the kid from The Whitest Kids You Know, one of the stupidest comedies I would watch here and there. And he was also in Miss March, if anybody remembers that movie, which was a very kind of dumb movie, but it's basically with the same guys and stuff like that. So, and his latest film to dish out for us, following up Barbarian, is Weapons, starring Julia Gardner, Benedict Wong, Josh Brolin, Austin Abrams, Alden Ehrenreich, and a few other actors. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but man, what a film. This is a non-spoiler review, so for those of you who did watch it, you like tuning in, and if you just like the video as well, feel free to give us your support with that thumbs up, click the like button, ring the bell for notifications, so every time we drop a video or something, you guys can watch it when you can, or of course subscribe. We appreciate you all. Three of those are perfect combination, the triangle of love. So yeah, Weapons, very much like the trailers, actually. It is essentially about a small town in the middle of nowhere, I guess, or, somewhere in the Midwest, where 17 kids just run off in the middle of the night and are missing. Parents want answers, and Julia Gardner's character is just at the center of it because she was the teacher in that class. And her and Josh Brolin and a couple other characters are kind of intertwining their points of view to find out what the truth is behind all this stuff. So I remember when I saw the trailer, I was like, is this witchcraft? Is this like some sort of like mind manipulation thing? I'm not going to spoil what it is because that's actually a big twist of this movie. But man, what a great movie, both super creepy and really like building up intensity and just making you feel like, oh my, like unsettling, but also had some humorous moments where me and half the theater, especially I had a couple ladies sitting next to me, and they had a lot of jokes and were just laughing about it half the time. So I was like, okay, I could see that. So it's just that good energy with this movie, but I really liked it. I was very I'm glad this guy did not let us down, because Barbarian was really good, very subversive in that story and what you think was going to happen. Very, very similar to this one, although I kind of did call it with one of my suspicions, but still, it does not make me like this movie any less. But Bern, what did you think about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I was very, and this was one of my anticipated movies for sure, just because of how much I really enjoyed Barbarian from a few years ago. That movie really took me by surprise, and of course, finding out that the director behind it was from The Whitest Kids You Know was a huge surprise. So immediately after seeing that movie, I was definitely interested in seeing whatever he was going to do next. Just because we've seen these transitions of people who work in comedy moving over to horror and having huge success. So this was one of them that I was really much looking forward to. In saying that, that building of anticipation, it's a tricky thing, because you don't want to set yourself up for for not being entertained by a movie or not having as much fun with it just because of how much hype there is around it, especially with a lot of the marketing coming out for this movie. There was a lot of praise before the release, so it was like, oh man, is it gonna hit for me? Like, is it gonna be one of those things where my hype is a little bit too high for this movie, and it's impossible to satisfy whatever my expectations are. I'm happy to say that this exceeded my expectations. This is just such a fun movie. From all aspects of it, the horror aspects of it are really fun and creative. I love the way he uses the camera and how he uses angles to sort of build up the anticipation of, just that feeling of what is around the corner, what is hiding in the places that we can't see, and building up tension in that way. And I love how they used music in the movie too, where the score is very minimal, but it hits in points where the adrenaline is just pumping, and it just amplifies that feeling of either stress or fear or excitement. It was just really well put together in that aspect, and taking that sort of non-linear story approach from Barbarian and expanding upon that in interesting ways just keeps you guessing and keeps you on your toes. And this movie does clock in at roughly a little bit over 2 hours, and the entire time I was entertained. Like, usually movies sort of don't justify their lengths nowadays, and in horror movies you can sort of overstay your welcome in that sense, but with this movie, the entire time I was just intrigued, and the way that the story was developing was so fun to watch unfold. I think he knocked it out of the park with this one, just like he did in Barbarian, and it was a lot of it was just a ton of fun. Like you mentioned, the comedy bits really hit, the horror bits and the gore bits hit. I think I'm comfortable in saying that Zach Cregger might sort of be the modern horror movie director's version of Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi had a lot of those sensibilities, in his earlier horror works, where there was a fun blend of horror and comedy and gore, and just using all those elements in really fun and interesting ways. And that's a lot. It feels like a lot what Zach Cregger's doing with Barbarian and now Weapons. I think like he's definitely like this era's Sam Raimi, especially after this movie.
Yeah, that's actually a very fair comparison. I definitely agree with you. Like, he kind of like Sam Raimi, what he did, like Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell, and a couple other things. He definitely knows how to pick his comedic moments when they're well, timing those well, but also creating just a very like gross or creepy atmosphere with this one. And yeah, I do agree. Like, while this was a little over 2 hours, I wasn't really bored. I was in that mode of like, I want to keep finding out what's happening. What are we missing? It's like a puzzle. The way he does it is like, again, I don't really want to spoil that because that also is a very interesting way to do it. But it's like a puzzle. Like, you're trying to figure out like clues and bits and pieces, put things together. So I really liked it. The acting, as always, is really good. You got a lot of up and coming actors like Austin Abrams and Julia Gardner, who's having a great year. Like, given she started off with Wolfman, but that's a love-hate movie with me. And then she was in the Fantastic Four First Steps, and now this. So she's doing great. Josh Brolin is always a powerhouse of himself. And, and other actors like Benedict Wong, June Diane Raphael, and Alden Ehrenreich. Just all add this to like a delicious soup of entertainment and horror and comedy. So, with all that being said, I definitely would probably go back and see this again. It's the last like few minutes that actually really made this movie like I want to go back and see it because of that. So I'm gonna give this a hard 4 out of 5. Definitely recommend it, especially for those of you who really liked Barbarian. And after watching this, me and Bert have been talking, and I came to the realization that he is the guy who's going to be directing the new Resident Evil movie coming out in sometime in 2026, maybe 2027. And, with these two movies under his belt, I definitely have a lot of confidence in him. So highly recommend this movie. Like I said, 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, this along with Barbarian is such a really fun 1-2 punch with a new name in horror. Both of these movies are just wildly entertaining, and I wouldn't say unpredictable, but they feel refreshing for a lot of like horror things that we've gotten. And horror is having a really, really good renaissance as of late, and just to get movies like this that sort of keep you on your toes and don't forget to have fun along the way. This one was just such a great treat, and I'll be very surprised to see people walking out of this being really angry or disappointed. Even though it takes some turns that you would least expect, the payoff at the end of this journey is a lot of fun. And like you mentioned, those last few minutes of this movie are going to be ones I think people are going to be talking about because it's one of the more satisfying endings in a movie that we've gotten lately, where you're just leaving the theater like, man, that was such a good time. But yeah, this is a great time for me. Again, this has been a really good year for horror, so I don't know where I would rank it now in terms of like my favorites of the horror movies this year, but this is an easy 4 out of 5 for me. Just wildly entertaining from start to finish. As you mentioned, all the actors here do a wonderful job, and the movie gives them all really great time to showcase their talents with the way that the movie is structured. Specifically, it really gives them a lot of room to sort of flex their acting muscles, and that paired with a lot of really good technical aspects really just does make this movie just a really great movie to watch. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. Highly recommended, and especially if you loved Barbarian, this is just a really entertaining time at the movies.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Like, even though, like, given it's almost a 2 hour movie, but for a lot of the stars in this one, yeah, Byrne makes a good point that they get their just dues. Like, there's not one character I feel like, oh, I wish we saw more of. Like, it all just felt really well balanced. So, really like that aspect of it. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for both me and Byrne. Again, it's been a great renaissance in the last few years of horror movies making a good comeback, you know. So I'm really excited to see what else is coming out. I say with this one, it also reminded me a lot of Longlegs in a way, like kind of like story wise and just vibes in general. So if you liked Longlegs last year and Barbarian, this is definitely gonna be a movie I think you'll enjoy. But yeah, we still got a lot of shows coming out, some more stuff coming out this month. So until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and just keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.